Okay, good morning. Today is Thursday, March 11th. It's 9:03 a.m. This is a meeting of Senate Natural Resources and Energy Committee. We are continuing our work on a number of items, including picking back up where we last paused on S109. The so-called weatherization bill. We have a clean draft based on conversations and committee work yesterday. So I'd like to ask Ms. Murkowski to screen share and bring us through the most current draft, please.
Sure. Ellen Tchaikovsky, Office of Legislative Counsel. I'm here on S109. The draft this morning is under my name on your website. It is draft 3.1, dated March 10th. It's technically not a clean draft because there are two additions to it that are highlighted in yellow. Okay. It is an updated draft from yesterday's conversation. And the only changes that were made are down in the section on the reports, which is section 4. So to both reports, the new language has been added. The chairs of the House and Senate committee or their designees shall meet with the Department of Labor et al. And then again in subdivision B for the Energy Savings Counseling report, the chairs of the House and Senate committee or their designees shall meet with the Office of Economic Opportunity et al. To start the process. And then finally, I had forgotten to add an effective date to this draft. So down at the end, section 8, this act shall take effect on passage except for section 6, which is the appropriation section, which shall take effect on July 1, 2021.
Okay, great. Thank you. So let's pause and committee members, do you have any questions or concerns about anything we currently have in the bill? I don't know if, I'd ask people to think about it overnight just in case there were other thoughts that were whatever. You were noodling something over and sort of a last chance to make any kind of edits. Senator McDonald.
We zip back up to the section where the bill talks about, I think, the purpose being to weatherize homes to save people money.
Sure. So in
section
1.
Okay, 4. Can we read the whole?
Sure. Yeah. So this is existing law. We're in Title 10.
Yep. And is there a 6?
There is not. 5.
Okay.
5 is
so I just something that I'll forget when I'm trying to think about overnight. This is the existing law is terrific. I think we've moved beyond that, and the purpose is not just to save people money, but it's in furtherance of our climate goals, which will also save people money, and it. Whether that's worth mentioning or whether that's worth mentioning and adding that when we're done, we haven't met our climate goals because we still have to replace the fossil fuels for the reduced heating that people still have to acquire. So maybe what I have said is superfluous, but I just wanted to bring that up now, and don't expect any solutions or changes at this time.
Okay.
I want to, the direction that Mark is heading, I totally agree with.
Right. Yeah, and we didn't have 4 in an earlier draft, but pulled it in because it did speak to the economic impacts of, it was existing law, but it seemed like it was worth including here to remind us that we've already been talking about saving money as well as reducing emissions. So I appreciate all the comments. The other piece too that Senator Westman pointed out and we added was that in the charge to the PUC, we talk about incentivizing or disincentivizing, heating appliances. So,
Yep.
So
which,
I-
go ahead, Senator Westman.
I would just say that yesterday, the director of OEO mentioned that the changes that we made in statute might be better someplace else in their charge. And I haven't had a chance to sit down with them, but that's one thing. And I do know that some of the people talking about our appropriation has come around. This is going to go down the hall to appropriations, and they probably aren't going to take it up immediately. But as long as we get it to appropriations, we've met crossover.
Right.
And what I would say is, if we come back with some minor tweaks that are go in the direction of where we intended this bill to go, I might come back after I sit down with OEO or hear from a couple of other people, and might come back and try to raise those other issues with the committee.
Sure. That where that text best belongs, I can understand both points of view. So
Yeah, I just wanted to raise that with you. I haven't had a chance to sit down with them, and yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good point. And in our meeting, Senator Westman and I sat down with Senator Kitchell yesterday, and she indicated
That was 2 days. That was 3 days ago, wasn't it?
yeah, it was either yesterday or last week. I'm not sure which. Anyway, she was inviting if we had further things that we wanted to, as Senator Westman said, tweak, to come down the hall while they have the bill. But I think we're at the tweak stage. Seems like we're pretty much in agreement on the bones of what's here.
Yeah.
Okay. Senator McDonald, did you have anything more you wanted to?
No, I think Senator Westman has charted a course worth following.
Okay, great. Senator McCormick, any thoughts on the bill? Any items that you wanted to speak to before we consider voting?
I think I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
I just have a quick
And-
point of clarification. So when Senator Westman mentions, is it possible then, Senator Westman, you would come back with amendments after we vote this out before it gets to the floor? Some clarifying amendments.
Well, I might raise issues with the committee, and if we all agreed, I think there's a number of ways we can go. I think what we heard from Senator Kitchell is the appropriations will not be taking this up immediately.
Right.
And so if there are slight changes that fell within the direction or the bones of what this whole thing is, I might be back and say, could we tweak this a little bit and either make recommendations to appropriations or if it's an amendment, but just at least bring it up for discussion in the committee.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. So if there's no further discussion, then I think we'd be looking for a pair of motions, first to amend the underlying bill and then to vote the bill as so amended.
So moved on the first motion. I'll move the
Okay.
amendment.
Thank you. Any discussion? The clerk will call the roll, please.
Senator McCormick,
Yes,
Senator McDonald,
Yes,
Senator Westman, Senator Campion, yes. Chair votes Senator Bray.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, 5-0-0.
Great. Senator McCormick, you want to do the honors?
I move that we recommend passage of the bill as amended.
Any discussion? Okay, the clerk shall call the roll, please.
Senator McCormick,
Yes,
Senator McDonald,
yes,
Senator Westman,
yes,
Senator Campion, yes. And the chair, Senator Bray.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. I don't know that I've ever worked with a committee as long and hard on one bill as this one. This has been like our seminar so far. I know there's a lot more work to do. This is not. We're fully. I just want to be completely clear. In my own mind, I think we're all there. Is that we're setting up work for next year. Yes, we're talking about how to have an increase 20% or approximately on low income weatherization, perhaps more, because Efficiency Vermont also receives funding and delivers services to low income Vermonters as well as moderate income Vermonters. And the moderate income piece, I think, is going to be a significantly larger than 20% increase. So there's 2 years of good work going to be coming the way of Vermonters based on what we're passing here. And we also know that this committee is interested in doing more than 2 years of good work. So we're setting ourselves up, I think, to be ready to do more than 2 years of good work when we come back in January. So, all right. So with that, Ms. Schakowsky, can you send back to the committee a clean copy? And would anyone like to report this bill? I'm happy to do so, but I don't want to monopolize. Okay, so
Mr. Chairman, you were the driving force on this bill throughout the discussions. You were pushing it, and you should have the honor, I think.
well, thank you. So I'll be happy to report the bill. Great. So we are actually ahead of schedule then, because I didn't know if we were going to need more time. The next thing actually on our agenda is S101, which we don't have possession of, but questions have come up again around this bill, which is the economic development bill. We heard yesterday briefly about sewer hookups, and I've received, I think all of us have received a number of emails about expressing a concern about any possible relationship between combined sewer overflows, which we know are a challenge in the state, and the sewer hookup provisions that are in this bill. So we went through this in detail last spring, but I don't expect everyone to remember, and I don't remember all the precise details. So I don't know, Ms. Schakowsky, if prior to having those folks in, we're going to have a gap, so we'll have a break unless someone has something else they want to discuss.
So let me ask this: you are going to have people in, correct?
Yes.
The way the emails have been coming, it sounded like you were not going to have people in.
So we have 3 people scheduled currently, and I asked Commissioner Walk if he could join us as well. So if that happens, we'll have a 4th. So again, this is on the economic development bill as it relates to the wastewater provisions. We'll also come back to S10. So we don't have possession of the bill, but we're still doing some due diligence in hearing about this issue, in part because economic development said this particular part of the bill is not their strong suit nor what they usually deal with. So would we look at it?
I only asked the question because I have 5 emails asking to testify, and the push behind that, it felt like you that somehow somebody wasn't going to listen.
So while we're on break, let me check in with you and make sure I haven't missed a name. The names we currently have listed are Thomas Weiss, Amy Politik from ANR, Brian Redmond from ANR, and I'd ask Commissioner Walk to check back in with us as well. I've received other emails, so let's, I would like to pause and hear how other people review this. Someone in one of the emails, a correspondent said under Senate Rule 28, they believe that they had the right to provide, to quote unquote, be heard. And it's always been this committee's policy, while I've been on it, that being heard can happen in many different ways. They can literally be in the witness chair. They can these days Zoom into a meeting. They can also provide, they say, I'm submitting written testimony, and then we distribute it to the committee and we post it to our website. So from my point of view, anyone who's done any of those things has quote unquote been heard. If someone wants to not only submit written testimony, but show up and speak to the committee, I'd say, okay, we've often done that. You could be heard twice over, whatever you want to call it. So Senator Westman, during break, I'll ask you to help me double check that we're not leaving anyone out. I know that some people have just submitted written testimony. They often don't say that they also want to show up as well in person.
Senator Bray, Karen Horn asked to testify today on that. She just sent me an email.
Okay, so happily we're going to have extra time. So let's try to move our start time up and add people to the front end of that block of time. So Karen Horn would be new. Can you, sorry to do this, Jude, because it means emailing a number of people, but so far,
okay.
Yeah. Let's see if we can start it at 10 rather than 10:30.
Okay. And how do you want that lineup? Do you want the same lineup with Mr. Weiss first and the other people at 10?
Yes, please. And then let's add Karen Horn.
Yep. Okay.
And if any other committee member knows of someone who emailed lately that wants to speak to the committee, has anyone seen one? I don't want to miss anyone.
I just brought that up, Mr. Chairman, because I didn't think there was any way that you were trying to exclude anyone.
Absolutely. So thanks. Senator McCormick, thanks for waiting. Sorry.
Thank you. And Mr. Weiss's testimony will be posted as well at the website. Is that right?
It's currently under public comments because he has not appeared yet, and I wasn't sure if he was coming today. So it will be under written testimony.
Thanks.
And Senator McDonald.
Mr. Chair, could you, my understanding is that we don't have possession of the bill. We may take some testimony and have some concerns, and if we had them, they would show up as a amendment on behalf of the committee to the bill. Is that correct?
That was the pathway that I figured we would go. If we saw a problem, we propose an amendment.
And the bill is scheduled for debate on the Senate floor today, tomorrow, or next week? Or has it gone to appropriations or another committee in the interim?
I believe it's going to finance. Let me check with council. That's okay.
Okay,
No,
so,
so it is scheduled for a vote tomorrow in Senate Economic Development. They haven't voted it out yet, and it does have appropriations in it, so it will be going to appropriations.
so we have time to listen without being rushed and to deliberate after we've heard from the several witnesses who would like to speak to us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so if people would be so, we will reconvene at 10. If people could, in the meanwhile, maybe in the next 5 minutes, take a look through your email, or I know we're all getting a lot of emails, so it's a little hard to make sure you don't miss one. I will go through mine, and if I see anyone else requesting to testify, I'm going to pass that name along to Jude and ask her to issue an invitation to the testimony that will begin at 10.